only America first. America first. The American people will come first once again. With respect, the respect that we deserve. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. America first.
Good evening, everybody. We're watching America First. My name is Nicholas J. Fuentes. We have a great show for you tonight. Very excited to be back here with you tonight on Wednesday. We have a lot to talk about tonight, lots to get into. Big show. Our featured story tonight, we're talking all about the Cornell student who applied for a job at a tech startup, found out that he would be working for a couple of Jews, and he promptly messaged them, "I'm not interested in the job. I don't want to work for Jews." Totally reasonable thing to say. I don't know about you guys, but I actually feel exactly the same way. That's like something I would have said. But now he is being hunted by the Jewish oligarch Joe Lonsdale, who you may know is the famous co-founder of Palantir. Ever heard of it? Joe Lonsdale has led the charge to dox this student, get him expelled from his university, and now the Department of Justice of the United States of America says that if he ever gets a job again, they're going to get him fired. All because he said, "I don't want to work for a Jew." I wonder why. Go figure. So you're going to work for somebody, it doesn't work out, and then it leads to the Department of Justice telling you you're never going to work in this country again. I wonder why he didn't want to work for these people. They seem so pleasant and easygoing and understanding and gracious and benevolent and magnanimous and wonderful. And why would anyone have any complaints about that? These people are the best. I love working for Jews, and if I ever have a problem with them, I know it's going to be totally okay. So we're going to talk all about that tonight. We were going to cover it last night, but we ran out of time. We just ran up against a time constraint. Weren't able to get into it. Not in my control. Sorry. So we're going to talk all about that. We're also going to give you an update on the MOU, which will end the war between the United States and Iran. Some major developments, more confusion. Now, where we left off yesterday, we were all under the impression that the deal was signed over the weekend. That was our understanding. They said the deal was electronically signed Sunday night, Monday morning, depending on the time zone. And in spite of the fact that it was already a done deal, we weren't going to see it until after Friday, when a symbolic ceremonial signing would take place in Europe. That is what we were told. We were told the deal was already signed by both parties and it's a finished agreement. However, no one is allowed to see it until this symbolic signing, a completely ceremonial signing, which will take place in Europe. A delegation from the U.S. led by Vance, from Iran led by their parliamentary speaker, Halibaf. And after that ceremony, then everyone was going to get the agreement. Doesn't really make a lot of sense, but okay, that was the story. Well, today we now learn apparently the deal was actually not signed over the weekend. It was signed today. Trump was in France for the G7 summit, the group of seven. He signed it at the Versailles Palace and then sent it to the Iranians electronically, who then also signed it later in the evening in their time zone. So it wasn't signed over the weekend. It was signed today, apparently. After the signing today, we have now seen the official text of the agreement. The signing ceremony, which was scheduled for Friday, is now canceled. And instead, the two delegations will meet in Switzerland, but for the first round of formal negotiations in this 60-day extension of the ceasefire which is contained in the MOU itself. So things are changing very rapidly. There seems to be a lot of confusion. And it's like I said a couple of days ago, it's just hard to know what's even real, who's telling the truth, who's lying, how much of this is posturing, how much of it is even real. Apparently, we were being lied to about the actual mode of the signing itself right up until this evening. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and we're also going to talk about the actual provisions of the deal. We've sort of already done this. We had it yesterday. It was leaked by Bloomberg. And the other thing I want to discuss is this press conference, which was held by Trump in France today. He said some very interesting things, some common sense, but very interesting things. Among them, he said that Iran is going to have nuclear enrichment for peaceful purposes. He said other countries in the Middle East have it, so why can't they have it for energy? And of course, he's referring to Israel, I assume. He said Iran is going to be allowed to continue their medium-range ballistic missile program. He said Saudi Arabia has missiles. Why can't Iran have? How it's going to work? So it's very interesting. We're getting a little bit of a preview of maybe what these negotiations will look like over the next 60 days for this nuclear program. And it sounds like Iran is going to get everything they want. They're going to get everything. They're going to get all of their assets unfrozen, totaling more than $100 billion. They're going to get a $300 billion reconstruction fund funded by private sector companies, although the licensing and waivers and all of that is going to be handled by the U.S. government. They are going to get to control the Strait of Hormuz. It has been admitted that, yes, Iran and Oman will jointly control the strait, and there's only going to be consultation with the other countries in the Gulf, the Arab countries that we are allied with. And in the end, it's looking like they're going to get enrichment as well. There's going to be no limits on their missiles, no limits on their support for proxies, and ultimately they will be able to have a native nuclear uranium enrichment program for peaceful purposes. So we don't have that final agreement yet, but the way things are looking and the way things are sounding, seems like they're going to get everything they want, and I'm here for it. I don't know about you, but I am here for it. Congratulations, Iran. You fought hard, you left it all on the field, and you won. God bless the Islamic Republic of Iran. And I said it on Twitter, Iran won, Israel lost. So delicious. Laurel Loomer was in my replies. She said, Groypers are Islamists. I'm like, well, Jews lose. Groypers are Islamists? Yeah, whatever, bitch. Jews are losers. Israel are losers. Zionists are losers. You lose. Iran won. Thank you, Supreme Leader. On behalf of all Goyim of the world, on behalf of all Gentiles, Americans, Christians, thank you, Supreme Leader, and Iran. You did it.